You do not need perfect pitch to name an interval by ear. You just need songs, and you already know dozens of them. Here is the idea in one sentence. Every interval is the gap between the first two notes of some famous tune, so when you hear two notes and you are not sure what they are, you hum the song that starts the same way, and the song tells you the answer. Listen. That is two notes a perfect fifth apart, and the moment you hear them your ear reaches for Twinkle, Twinkle, because that song opens on exactly that leap. You did not measure anything. You did not count semitones. You recognized a tune. That is the whole trick, and by the end of this lesson you will have a song waiting for every single interval, from the tightest step to the full octave. So the method is simple, and it has three parts. First, learn a reference song for each interval, a tune whose opening two notes are that exact distance apart. Second, when you hear a mystery interval, sing it back and find the song that matches. Third, the name of the song's interval is your answer. Let me show you the loop on one example. I play two notes. Here they are again. Now I sing the start of Here Comes the Bride, and the first jump in that tune is the same as the two notes I just played. Here Comes the Bride opens on a perfect fourth, so the mystery interval was a perfect fourth. Play, match, name. Do that enough times and the matching becomes instant, and you stop needing the song out loud at all. Let me build you the full set, starting from the smallest steps and climbing all the way up. Start at the bottom, with the tightest gaps, because these are the ones beginners confuse most. One semitone, the smallest move there is the minor second. Listen to it. Two notes right next to each other, and that uneasy creeping sound is the Jaws theme, the sharp coming closer. There is almost no air between the notes, and that is the clue. When two notes feel like they are rubbing together, you are hearing a minor second. Now open it by one more semitone to the major second, two semitones wide. Listen. That is the first step of Happy Birthday, the lift from the first happy to the second. It is the most ordinary step in music, the plain move from one scale note to the next. Wider again, three semitones, gives the minor third. Listen. That falling, wistful color is the opening of Green Sleeves, and it carries the same shade of sadness you hear in a minor chord. And four semitones is the major third, the bright one. Listen. That is When the Saints Go Marching In, the cheerful climb on Oh When the Saints, and it is the sound at the heart of every major chord. For songs, for steps, and already you can separate the small intervals your ear used to blur together. Keep climbing into the middle of the octave, where the strong, open intervals live. 5 semitones is the perfect fourth. Listen. That is Here Comes the Bride, the same wedding march from before, solid and ceremonial. Push one semitone further, to 6, and you land on the tritone, the restless one dead in the center. Listen. That jagged, unsettled leap is the first two notes of the Simpsons theme. Now 7 semitones, the perfect fifth, the most stable, ringing interval of them all. Listen. That is Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, the leap you heard at the very start. And 8 semitones is the minor sixth, tender and a little aching. Listen. That is the opening of the love story theme, 2 notes reaching tenderly up. The middle of the ladder is the busiest part of music, and now you have a song planted on every rung. Now the wide leaps at the top, the ones that feel like the melody is jumping. 9 semitones is the major sixth, bright and reaching. Listen. That is My Bonnie Lies Over the Ocean, the swing up on My Bonnie, an open, hopeful sort of leap. 10 semitones is the minor seventh, big and yearning. Listen. That is the Star Trek theme, the famous leap that opens it, and the same restless interval you hear in a dominant 7th chord. 11 semitones is the major 7th, the widest interval that is still short of the octave, and it sounds like it is straining to get there. Listen. That is the start of Take On Me, a leap so wide it almost aches to close the last step. And finally, 12 semitones, the full octave, the same note higher up. Listen. That is somewhere over the rainbow, the soaring jump on the word sum. The two notes share a name and feel like one idea lifted into the sky. 12 intervals, 12 songs, and your ear now has a name for every distance inside an octave. One warning before you start drilling, because it trips everyone up. Every song so far has gone upward, low note then high note. Those are your references for ascending intervals. The moment an interval goes downward, high note then low note, the song you need changes completely. A perfect fourth going down is not Here Comes the Bride anymore. It is the opening of O Come All Ye Faithful, which falls instead of rising. The two notes are still 5 semitones apart, but the falling shape sounds like a different creature, so the upward song will not help you. A descending perfect fifth points you to the Flintstones theme. A descending major third is the start of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, those famous repeated notes that drop. So when you train, decide first which way the interval moves, up or down, and pick from the right list. Build a small set of descending songs too, one for each interval, and keep them separate in your head. Direction first, then the song. Get that habit early and you will never mix the two lists up. Here is how to actually make this stick, because knowing the songs and recalling them under pressure are two different things. Do not sit down once and try to cram all 12. Pick 3 or 4 intervals a day. For each one, play the two notes, sing the matching song out loud, then play it again and check that they line up. Play, sing, check. Let me give you one round to join in with. I will play an interval, you sing the song, then I confirm it. Here are 2 notes. Sing your song. That was a perfect fifth, Twinkle, twinkle. One more. Sing it. That was a major third, When the Saints. A few minutes of that every day beats one long exhausting session, because your ear learns these the way it learns any sound, by meeting it often, not by staring at it once. So that is the whole skill. A song for every interval, an upward list and a downward list, drilled a handful at a time until the matching is instant. You did not need perfect pitch, you needed tunes you already carried around, and now each one is a label for a distance. The pros do exactly this. Nobody is born knowing what a minor sixth sounds like, they simply attached it to a tune long ago and stopped noticing the song. With a little practice the songs fade into the background and the names arrive on their own. Once you can hear an interval and name it, the next door opens, because hearing the gaps is the same skill as building with them. The intervals you can now recognize are the exact bricks that scales and chords are made from, and putting those bricks together is the final step in this run. Train your ear today, and tomorrow you start building.